So what's up guys, and welcome to my channel. In case this is your first time tuning in, my name is JVceo. I predominantly talk finance, entrepreneurship, investment and everything around that. But I also touch upon topics that are of interest to me. So hope you enjoy the channel, and if you do, hit the subscribe button, like the video, and just communicate with me in the comment section. Do you think it's a good topic or nah? Do another one. But yeah, welcome to my channel. Anyways, let's get started. You're thinking, whoa, slow down. Where did that topic come from? Yes, you read it right. Why are black people greedy and envious? Actually, I was having a conversation with a mate of mine, Thierry, and firstly, I put up on my snap saying, what do you guys want me to talk about this Sunday? Because I obviously upload every Sunday at 6 p.m. And a few people hit me up with mental health and a few other things, and I thought I'd love to do mental health, but I'd want to do it as part of a panel, so that is we get opinions from all walks of life and all sorts of different characters and so on and so forth. But Thierry hit me up and he said, talk about black people being greedy and black people being envious, and let that be your topic of discussion. So I thought, what, why not? It's very different to the finance videos that I do. So when I dug a little deeper, Thierry helped me understand that this is all my opinion, right? This potentially stems from slavery, sometime around, in the 1400s, whatever it is, when, slavery was still ongoing. You had the house slaves and you had the cotton pickers, and the house slaves always felt like they were better than the cotton pickers because they were in the house, in the shades, whereas the cotton pickers were doing the hard labor. So potentially this is where the idea of black people being envious stems from. But we'll dig a little deeper. So I have a few theories that I'm going to share with you guys, and then you can tell me whether you agree or disagree in the comment section. So yes, even though we're not picking cotton or working as house slaves anymore, this energy of greed and envy is still lingered on within the black community. And my first theory for that is actually our upbringing, the way we were brought up. Think about it, right? How competitive are our parents, and unnecessarily so as well. So, they want you to do better than your cousins. They want you to be successful, but not successful for you. They want you to be successful so that they can use you as a bragging right, to rub it in your cousin's parents' faces, to rub it in family friends' faces. And I think that's unnecessary. And I think that's probably the beginning of where that energy stems from. Because now growing up, you grow up to believe that your cousin is the enemy. You grow up to believe that your cousin is your competition, or your family friend is your competition. Whereas these people shouldn't be your competition. They should be your partners. They should be your acquaintances. They should be, the people you look towards for help, for support, for growth, and to work together to achieve something bigger than what you're currently doing. But unfortunately, you've been brought up within that mindset, that toxic mindset. I think that then lingers on, and it's then hard for you to then say, all right, cool, this is where it stops, sort of stuff. So that's my first theory for that. Leads me on to my second theory behind why our community is full of greed and envy. The music scene. You might think, oh, what do you mean the music scene? I think the music scene, great, like it's shifted up from, when artists weren't able to make money in, the early 2000s, to a place where artists are making millions and like you can literally blow overnight. But then the disadvantage, I wouldn't really call it a disadvantage, but the effect of that is a distorted version of reality. So let's think about it. The music scene is big, but in the grand scheme of things, it's still very small. The music scene and those that actually earn money from it is a small minority of the general black population. But that small minority literally influences thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. So now those hundreds of thousands of people are starting to believe that this lifestyle is what the standard is. Maybe it might be the £1,000 Balmain jeans, or it might be the bust down Rolexes, or the Cartiers, the Pateks, and so on and so forth. And now the music scene has set the benchmark for what normal life is, if that makes any sense, whereas it's only a small percentage. We can't all make money like the artists, and we've got to come to a realization that there's the music scene and there's us, and we're two separate entities. You can't base your life off the music scene, because again, what does that breed? It breeds envy, it breeds greed, it breeds hate, it breeds all of that. Because automatically, you start to think that where you are in life isn't sufficient, because an artist is obviously doing better than you, and you think that you've got to level up to match them, whereas you shouldn't feel the urge to level up to match them, because you're in your own lane, and you know, your bag is different, your pocket is different, your grind is different, you know. So I think the music scene is another reason why, you know, there's so much envy and greed, because everyone is literally going extra hard the wrong way and against the wrong people just to keep up with the artist. Brings me on to my third point. This is the point that I call the first generational wealth pressure. You know, generally speaking, I feel like I might be statistically wrong, but generally speaking, according to my vague knowledge, I think black communities are one of, if not the least, groups of people that have like multiple generational wealth, that being second, third, fourth generational wealth. And I think this puts a tremendous amount of pressure on just black youths coming up, you know, myself, my friends, my friends' friends. Generally speaking, we all think that we're going to be the one to quote unquote rescue our families and take our families out of the pit, you know, and set them up for life. And now, you know, now we've got money and we could pass it on to the next generation and so on and so forth, which is great, it's ambitious, but I think this is part of the reason why there's so much hate and there's so much envy, because of the pressure that comes with you feeling as though it all lays on your back. You feel as though you're carrying your family on your back. Whereas if you were born into, you know, second generational wealth, third generational wealth, that wouldn't really be a concern of yours. You could literally crack on with life however you see fit, and you could go into roles that you want to do, you could go into hobbies that you want to do without the additional pressure of rescuing your family, you know. And I think that's predominantly why, in my opinion, there's more greed and envy within the black race as compared to, let's say, Caucasians and Indians and you know, other groups of people. Again, like I said, it's just a theory, and I just thought, you know what, I'd share it with my YouTube audience. Brings me on to my fourth theory as to why there's so much greed and envy in the black community. But by the way, on the real though, like, I feel like we need to work together, we need to support each other more. I feel like we could grow together. The only reason why the black community is where it is at the moment is because everyone thinks they can go it alone. There's a cultural saying that we say in our native language, but it translates to, when you piss together, it bubbles up more. So essentially speaking, teamwork. But we don't recognize teamwork. We all think we could go it alone. We all think, F the next man, I'll do it myself. I'll put a knife in his back if I could get ahead further than him. Whereas it's, oh, that's the next man. How can I collude? How can I work with him? How can I collaborate with him and go further than I would go on my own? So anyways, fourth point. Another of my theory being social media kind of links into what I said about, you know, artists and rappers in my earlier point. But social media just spreads a lot of nonsense, you know. And I think social media creates so much insecurity, and social media creates such an insatiable appetite for wealth, because you start to think that that's what the benchmark is. You wake up in the morning and you go onto your Instagram and you see these well edited pictures, whether it's of a body image or whether it's of a travel location or whether it's of some material stuff, cars. You start to think that that's what the standard is. And I think, again, linked back to what I said about not having any generational wealth, you get fazed by these things, you know, because that's what your measure of success is. That's what you're aiming for. And the more you see these things and the more you haven't attained it, I think it just starts to work in the back of your head. It starts to chip away. And I think that's where the envy gets in, and that's where the greed gets in. That's where you're willing to cross anyone and everyone, including your fellow black people, just to get ahead and attain what social media says is cool, if that makes any sense. Brings me on to my last point. egoistic characteristics, I would probably put it out there and say that black people are one of, if not the most egoistic people or egoistic race on earth. I'm egoistic myself, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think too much of that, again, leads into envy. Too much of that leads into greed. And you might think, how so? When you're brought up to be egoistic, you're brought up to believe that no one else should be better than you. You should be the best out there. If you don't channel it the right way, you start to, rather than competing against companies, you're starting to compete against individuals. Because what? A friend of yours had closed a deal worth £30,000 more than what you have in your pocket. You start to pocket watch, you know, because of the ego within you. The ego within you wants you to be the biggest. The ego within you wants you to be the baddest, the best. There's the good ego and there's the bad ego. But a lot of times, our minds, unfortunately, taps into the bad ego. And that's where you get that nasty, nasty competitive streak where it just turns into hate. You start to hate your neighbor. You start to hate your brother. You start to hate your close friends because you think they're just doing certain things better than you. You think they have better attributes than you do. Whereas you should be tapping into their knowledge and thinking, how can I learn everything they're doing so that I can be good, if not better than they are at the moment. But yes, this concludes my video. Thank you if you've tuned in all the way till the end. I think this video was fun and I enjoyed doing it. I think probably more of these conversations should go on in our community because I think we need to move forward as a unit. With that being said, I do want to do a video on mental health, but like I mentioned at the start, I'd love to have it on a panel so that I can just get different opinions from different people. So if you're interested in taking part in that, if you've been affected by mental health in any way, shape or form, or if you have a strong opinion on it, then just drop me an email. My contact details is in the description section and I'll be seeing you again, what day? Sunday at 6 p.m. Thank you.